and especially to Azita, who's not right here, but she is the person who really made this possible for us to have this space. We also want to express our warmest thanks to the Center for Political Education and to Left Groups, who people I don't think are here this afternoon, friends and co-sponsors of today's program. We urge you to meet with people from both organizations and to check out the material on the table. Our material from Freedom Road is on the table right over here. Please feel free, check it out, take what you would like with you. There's a sign-up sheet also that has been passed around, and anybody who hasn't signed yet, please do. That would be great. One way that you can show your solidarity with this program is to make a donation of whatever you are able. I'm talking cash, all right? Because this will definitely help us to offset our costs. Michelle has got the hat, and that's going to be going around. Thank you. We live in times of dark challenges, of powerful mass resistance, of possibilities for change. Trump's ramping up of his ethnic cleansing of Latinos and the barbaric conditions facing Mexican and Central Americans at the border coincide with the July 1 electoral victory of Andrés Manuel López Obrador. This is significant. When we decided on a date for this program with Javier, no one knew what the outcome would be for Mexico's July 1 election. Every single poll showed AMLO holding a huge lead against the PRI and the PAN candidates. But who was to know if the highly organized, well-financed fraud machine would be as successful as it has been in the past? In the end, the voting was torrential throughout the country, throughout all 31 states of Mexico. Oh yeah, Mexico, excuse me, is now 32 states. The city of Mexico is now officially a state. Amazingly and quite beautifully, I would say, is that the margin of victory for AMLO was as emotional as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's was for the people of the Bronx. And with Mexico's Congress and Senate having gone overwhelmingly to Morena, you can imagine that people definitely partied hard. Javier Bravo teaches ancient history and 20th century history of Mexico at the University of Guanajuato, where he lives. He studied in the Soviet Union at the end of the Soviet period when he was a kid, basically. And he is also an archaeologist. As representative of Mexico's only left party, Morena, he will speak about the election of Andrés Manuel López Obrador, about what the Morena victory can mean for millions of poor and working people of Mexico, about the potential for change of relations between Mexico and the United States. And I stress potential. As internationalists, Freedom Road believes that we must first consider our solidarity with Mexico in its resistance to U.S. neoliberal imperialism. Big word. Solidarity can mean lots of things. It can mean moral and material support, such as what was organized for coastal villages of Oaxaca, devastated by the earthquake last March. It can mean events like today's. It can mean building unity amongst ourselves on the left, are discussing common perspectives. And it absolutely means a relentless defense of immigrants. Well, that's really all I want to say right now at the outset, but it would be great if Sarah could come up and give just a little brief about Freedom Road. Is Sarah here?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. Okay.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming today. My name is Sarah. I'm a member of Freedom Road Socialist Organization. I'll just briefly explain a little bit about who we are. We have districts all over the country, mostly focused in the South, where we do a lot of organizing. But our main goal is building the strategic alliance between the multinational working class and the national movement. So so that we can win. Bring everyone together so we can win. And in the last few years, that has been our main theoretical work, and actually our work on the ground around building a path to power. How can we, within the movements, post-Trump, come together, and what do we really need to do to strategically work together to actually make the changes for all of us in this country and in the world? We have an international perspective, and that is why we felt like it was important to have this conversation with Javier today, because we can't just do it here in the belly of the beast. We have to be, looking outside of just the United States, because our reach within the United States is so broad. And we have the sign-in sheet, so if you'd like to hear more about who we are and what we do, and if you're interested in becoming a general member, we have that option for folks to support the organization. And thank you so much for coming. Isaac, would you like to come and say a couple words about the Center for Political Education?
Good afternoon. My name is Isaac Montiveros, along with Rachel Herzing here. I'm the co-director of the Center for Political Education. CPE has been around for 20 years. This is our 20th anniversary this year. And the center is a resource for left, progressive, labor, and community of color organizations. We do public forums such as this. We do classes, and we work with organizations and coalitions to sharpen their strategies. Our basic idea is that the more left and progressive organizations can dig into their history, can have firmer and stronger analytical tools, then the deeper and broader and more effective their work will be towards freedom and liberation. We couldn't be happier to partner with Freedom Road on this event. We, like most of you here, are very interested in learning more about the political situation in Mexico. And as has already been said, for the left in the United States, whether it be locally or nationally, our ships rise and fall together with our comrades in Mexico. So this couldn't be more important. We couldn't be more grateful. We do not have physical propaganda to offer you. We have plenty of digital propaganda, so I'll propose two things. One is that you can visit our website, which is just politicaleducation.org. And insofar as Freedom Road sends a follow-up, perhaps we'll wedge in some stuff about our organization there. So thank you for coming. Thank you, Javier, for being here. And yeah, good to see you.
Nice start. Good afternoon. Javier, Francisco Javier Martinez Bravo is my name. And I work at the University of Guanajuato for 20 years already, teaching, as Bruce just said, ancient history of Mexico and particularly Guanajuato, and also 20th century history, work history. So the edges of the historical period, the beginning and the present. So I think they are actually connected very deeply, and I can give a talk about that specifically, but some other time. This time, I want to share with you some ideas about how it was possible that in Mexico, where a political party that has ruled my country for more than 70 years, that was an all-powerful political party, very corrupt from the very beginning to this present times. How was it possible for that political party to lose an election with all its fraud power? They had all the funds of my country, all our money were in their hands, they lose because the massive vote for the left, for Morena, was so overwhelmingly that
Was so overwhelming.
was so overwhelming that the capacity of fraud wasn't enough. Why was that? Partly because the bad government we have had for decades made people awake, open their eyes, and understand that though they were promising, as in every period, as in every election, promising that they are the solution of our problems, that's false, because they are the cause of our problems. They cannot be the solution. They are the very cause, and people somehow understood that basic things and voted consequently. So that's part of the explanation why it happened that a massive vote for the left and Andrés Manuel López Obrador made that powerful political party incapable of fraud, a new fraud. So another part of the explanation is who we are. Who are all those people from Morena, a party that only 4 years ago got its registration as a political party, and now is the first political force in the country. Yeah. In terms of not only that our candidate just won the election, the presidential election, but also the Congress. In the Congress we have majority. In the Chamber of Senators and the Chamber of Congress people, we have the majority. Not the majority of 2/3 that could be necessary for constitutional reforms, but it's more than 60%, so we will have to negotiate for constitutional changes in our some reforms, constitutional reforms. But we have the conditions, the political conditions to negotiate with strong arguments, with a lot of votes, because we have the majority in both chambers. So, what happened? Why we grew up so soon to have the majority in the country? It's a long story. I just want to share with you some ideas about our political formation. We in Morena have a great school of political formation, and we are trying to spread the word about our new vision on politics. We think that in terms of political science it could be new, but actually it's not new. It's very old. It's also ancient. An ancient idea of politics is based in the everyday life of our indigenous communities. As Bruce explained, I am an archaeologist. I'm not a political scientist, I'm just an archaeologist. Just an archaeologist. So my view on this matter is as follows. As you all may know, humanity, according with evidence, archaeological evidence, has 2.5 million years of from the present. Yeah, the first human beings, very primitive, small, hairy, but they were already human, right? More than 2 million years, 2.5 actually, according to evidence. But only recently, some 9,000 years ago, it happened that the ethics of human life more than 2 million years along all this period was an ethics of a communitarian ethics, an ethics of equality, of equity, of justice. But only recently, this part of the timeline, I don't mean that the time passes like a line without any, just to transmit an idea, yeah? The timeline, and only recently, and I draw this period too broad. Actually, it should be more narrow, because we are talking about only some 9,000 years before present, that something happened. And happened that the communitarian ethics was broken somehow by private property, mainly, and with all the consequences from the appearing, the raising of private property. Could sound strange here in the United States, but as an archaeologist, I swear it is. It's true. And I can demonstrate that with evidence, right? While there wasn't any private property, there was no signs, material signs in archaeological terms, no signs of domination. There are lots of signs of common labor, common building of collective wealth, and many signs of sharing that wealth in equal parts for everyone. Yeah. But only recently. I'm talking about this because we have been taught in school at the university that at the beginning of the times there existed individuals that were fighting against each other, and only because they somehow invented a treaty, some kind of agreement, they start killing each other, and that is the explanation of the appearing the origins of the state. We don't see that in archaeological terms. We see other processes, several processes where humanity were sisters and brothers and not enemies. So the state appeared against, according to this other view on politics since the very beginning, because as soon as people join the will of life, of living better and better across the time, they created institutions. The first institution was an economical institution for surviving, to work together, to share the benefits of common labor, and that's already an institution. Family is an institution. Even the most primitive forms of family organization is an institution. So we are community, we are institutions from the very beginning, yeah, until now, and all those institutions are different forms of political participation at the same time, because the purpose, the very central purpose of any human institution is to enhance life, to secure that the next generation will live and live maybe better than our generation. So that is the purpose of politics. This is why we in Morena, in this view of politics, we state that political power has its venue in the people, in the political community. Yeah. This is the real power, and we give for a few time to our representatives some delegate power in order to work into these institutions, many different institutions. For example, the Ejército Zapatista de Liberación Nacional, you all have heard about the Zapatistas. They live in caracoles. Caracoles are the basic communitarian organizations of the Zapatistas. They're autonomous, and they produce what they eat, and they share in equal parts. It's a social justice in that level, in the level of the community. They participate directly in the collective decisions, and that is a value that we have to recover, to understand its importance, and to try to do it in higher levels of participation. We, of course, understand that direct participation in all the public matters is impossible at the level of the state. The political participation has levels, different levels, from municipal or the level of state in Mexico, the state of Jalisco, Guerrero, Guanajuato, and so on. But direct participation is not feasible, is not doable in the level of the whole state, of the whole national state. But it is important for us to keep in mind that the real power lays in the people, in the political community. This is the real venue of power, because in the traditional understanding of politics, liberal, modern, capitalist politics, we have been told that political class is the venue of power. I mean, professional politicians are the power. And we say, no, they are our employees. They have to obey the people. They have to obey the people, and that is a very different understanding. Even now, in my home university in Guanajuato, the Faculty of Political Science is teaching young people that they just have to understand how the power works, but in terms of the existence of political class. They have the power, they are the power, and we have to do something for the power to be more or less democratic. We say no. We have to learn a lot from our indigenous communities and understand that the people is the venue of power, and they, all our representatives, are our employees, and we have to act according to that. So we have several levels of political participation, and let me explain this. Here is written potentia in Latin. That means the power lays in the people, is a real venue of power, but it's only a non-determinate power, not concrete already. It gets concrete, the power, in the form of the institutions. That is when the power acquires a concrete form, a concrete expression. And the highest level of organization, of compression of power is the state. The potestas means that we give our representatives temporary delegate power. We are trusting them, but they have to work for us. that is why this scheme for me has some movement. I will try to explain it. When our representatives in the state, in the level of the state, make some decisions that enhance life of the political community, for example, good laws for the people, defending the victims, enhancing the social rights of women, of children, homosexuals, indigenous communities. They are acting according to the interests of the people. They are enhancing life. So that is this cycle, A, B, C, A. Yeah, the positive one. Well, I am a leftist, so the right side is the left side. The left cycle, A, B, C, A. Left to the left is the good one, the green one. Not the bloody one, but the green one. So it is very important for our way to understand politics that there are three main parts of politics that are expressed in our way of doing politics. The first one is the ethical content of politics. That means that the actions of our representatives in many levels, communitarian level, municipal, state, or the nation level, if they enhance life, this is the expression of the ethical content of politics. But of course, there is an ethics here in corrupt politics. It's another kind of ethics, right? A negative ethics with anti-values here. I'll explain that later. But I mean, this is the first thing, the ethical content of political action, of the power. The second one is that our representatives in any level are obligated to do possible things, to speak of possible, feasible things. Otherwise, it will be demagogia. How is it in English? Demagogia. 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 Well, demagogy. When they are speaking lies in order to manipulate people. Demagogia in Spanish. I always forget the English word. Yeah? They have to do concrete things, feasible things. So they could have concrete results. And those concrete results in politics enhance, motivate more and more the political participation. So this cycle enhances itself and becomes more and more vigorous. That is why it's important for the political community to participate in all the different levels of politics. So that means that we have to change our minds in order to acknowledge that it's not politics and power is not a matter only of professional politicians. They want us to believe that in order to demobilize us, deorganize us, to disencourage the political participation of the community. They want to believe us that it's a matter of only professional politicians. We don't believe that. That is why we think that we are very close to the people, we are part of the people, and they are not. They are not. They behave themselves as if they were gods or emperors, pharaohs, I don't know, but they are so far from the people that we don't believe them anymore. Even, well, I want to say something about the election completely for president. Andrés Manuel López Obrador received more than 30 million of votes. He's the most voted president in all our history. No one in the whole history of Mexico has been voted so importantly as Andrés Manuel López Obrador. But almost all of those 30 millions are not members of Morena, are just people that were tired of corruption, were tired of lies, of seeing Enrique Peña Nieto, our present president of Mexico, receiving as gifts some mansions, big houses of $7 million. La Casa Blanca de Peña Nieto is like a scandal in our recent history. He received a house valued in some more than $7 million, and he's still the president. In some other countries, he couldn't be president anymore after that scandal, because it was demonstrated that it was an act of corruption, and nothing happened. Apparently, nothing happened. But the election shows us that something happened in people's heads, and they switched, they changed their habits of voting, because people for decades were voting for their robbers, for the people who were thieves to them, and voted for them. That's a paradox, but that paradox this time vanished, and that is very important. It's a very powerful message to other peoples in Latin America, where also corruption is everywhere. We were, it was like a collective habitus. There's a historian who speaks about habitus. How can I say it in English? It was like a tradition to vote for them. Even my father used to vote for the PRI. I was a little boy. He took me to the polls decades ago, and he showed me how I will have to vote sometime. And he voted PRI. And I asked him, why the PRI? And he answered me, anyway, he's going to win. So I prefer to vote for the winner. Okay. He was teaching me his principles, but they were just intuitions. Wrong intuitions. Yeah? But I think people are getting more and more concepts, and they are replacing the intuitions for concrete concepts. We are doing that. What I'm doing here right now is the same thing that I do in my country. Talk to the people and try to show where these ideas come from. And they come from our communities. When we say presently that global warming is real, well, somebody says it isn't real, but I won't talk about that person. I don't want to risk deportation. My family and I. But it's a real thing. It's a real thing, and it's a matter of how It's a consequence of pollution, of exploitation of natural resources in order to how can I say? It's for the capital, for some very wealthy people to get wealthier and wealthier and without a limit. The limit is the life, human life, our planet. With this logic of overexploitation of people and natural resources, we are going straight to our extinction as a species. We are destroying our species, we are destroying our planet. How absurd, right? But it could be natural for somebody to think that is the way it has to be. There's no other way of acting. There is another way. And that other way is shown to us every day by our indigenous communities. They, more than we do, they do know how to take care of their land, their water, their forest, the flora and fauna. They know how to do that because they feel themselves not separate from nature, but part of the nature. It is a matter of some modern liberal understanding of the world, that we separate ourselves from nature. We think that it's natural. It's not natural, it's cultural. It's a cultural matter and it's reinforced at school by telling us since we are children until now that we are different from nature. We are not anymore part of the nature. We are another thing, different thing, in essence. That is not right. We have to understand that we are part of nature and we cannot kill the planet and survive. We cannot be over-exploiting other people and survive as a species. It's absurd. Originary peoples in Mexico and everywhere in the world can teach us very strong political principles, even when they are not telling us that this is political theory. No, it's the practice, how they live, actually, and they live very wisely. We have to learn to respect them and not to see them as our minor brothers, as savages or something like that. That is how we are being taught, that they are primitive people. But the reality is the opposite, exactly the opposite. So this is why we are thinking politics. Otherwise, this is the word we are spreading within Mexico. I'm not trying to say that we are educating all the people, or we have educated all the 3 million people that voted left. No, but Andrés Manuel López Obrador intuitively uses these principles. I mean, he is not a high developed intellectual. He's a politician with a very thin, very sharp intuition, even though he's not studying in our school. We acknowledge that. Yeah. He has his limitations, and that's fine. But he is a leader. Why he is a leader? All his decisions, because leaders in social movements, in parties, in governments, make personal decision, not only collective decision, but also personal decisions, are according to this logic. So his intuition is extraordinary. He's a man, like a common person. But in terms of political science, we can see that it's well directed in this cycle, ABCA. So that is why his first measures already announced are in the direction of reducing the expenses of the government. For example, he announced that as soon as he assumes, there is a word, specific word in English for that, December the 1st, he will be already the president of Mexico. He will not use bodyguards, for example. There will not be any decoration of offices, because it's like a habit for them to, new governments to new redecorate all the offices, and that is very expensive, but it's unnecessary from our point of view of austerity, you know, because also they are not going to buy new cars for the government in any level. They're going to use the old cars, and he's refusing to use the presidential airplane. Will sell out all the planes and helicopters of the government, and they will use public transportation, the commercial airlines, and so on and so on. Because the professional politicians of the PRI and PAN have created an idea that those things were normal. Big expenses in pharaonic ceremonies, spending millions of our money in senseless ceremonies, they will exist no more in our government. So this is the beginning, but they constitute a very concrete and positive message for the people, that another kind of politics is possible. It's possible to do things otherwise, different from what we are used to seeing in the television, everywhere, in the politics in every level. So we believe that political participation in social struggles, in social movements, strikes, for example, and so on, they are positive messages of the people trying to live better than they are living right now. So, in our view, they are all lessons for us. They are all lessons for the new government, and one of the first measures for the new government will be like no public demonstration will be reprimido. How can I say it in English? Repressed. Repressed. No public demonstration will be repressed. People will have back their social rights, the human rights will be respected, because since from several decades ago to this time, it was normal for our governments in all the levels to consider that human rights are good, but not for everyone. I mean, they used to think to act accordingly to those principles, for example, that human rights, for example, the right to get married for the people. That's a basic social and political right, but not for homosexuals. They don't have the right to get married, to marry whoever they want. So how is that human rights are not for every human? But they have been acting that way. So we are for the other cycle of politics, that human rights are for all human beings. As simple as that, but we have living in other logic, very different, that it doesn't enhance life, but menaces life. Because corruption is a way of national budget to go away, to disappear, and not to enhance life. So it's a very perverse logic we are trying to break down. So I think that people have changed. It's not that change will come when Andrés Manuel López Obrador will